You have now arrived at Stadium and Gale.
The snap, the kick, it's been blocked again! Oh my! It's been blocked again! He's going to heave one deep down the field. It's going to be to the goal line. It's going to be caught! It's a touchdown! And the Gators have won the game! Tyreek Cleveland! Oh my! I can't believe what I just saw! Dropping back to throw, pops and fires the ball over the middle. It's Dory! It's Dory! Got a touchdown! Dory's got a touchdown! Oh man! Dory's got a touchdown!
Hands it off to Harmon. He comes back. Say goodbye.
Ahmad Black, in his final game as a Gator, takes it all the way home and sends Urban out a winner.
You have now arrived at Stadium and Gale.
Boys and girls, ladies and gents, welcome to another episode of Stadium and Gale. It's your boy Corey.
And Dan.
It's a two-man show, man. What's up with it? Scotty and Pippen.
Two-man show.
Scotty and
Jordan
Mike.
had a wisdom tooth taken out today, and then Nick's going to be out for a few weeks. He's got some family things to attend to. So, Corey, it's kind of like the good old days. Just you and I.
Yeah, man. Yeah, pre-show, I was thinking the same thing. Like, Jordan's out with a – at first, when he told me he was going to try to show up with after a wisdom tooth, I was like, who does that think he is?
Dude, I remember when I got my wisdom teeth out. I got them out between my senior year of high school and college. And man, I didn't feel terrible the first day, like right after, first couple hours, even after the Novocaine and everything else wore off. That night, I was like, oh man, this is going to suck. Like 2 or 3 days later, I'm like, dude, why did I spend like the 5 weeks I have between high school and college getting this done? All my friends are out having fun. I'm just nursing on the couch with an ice pack up to my face. But I hope Jordan gets better.
Yeah, bro. I still got my wisdom teeth. I haven't pulled any. I'm still thugging it.
Lucky.
I don't really get any issues with mine like everybody else does, though, man. Anywho, enough dentist talk.
Yeah, enough dentist talk.
How's your weekend, man? I had a solid time, man. NFL draft. We're gonna catch up on that a little bit. You stepped out with some new arm candy, man.
Yeah,
you got the sweet buzzer.
Yep.
Had some food drinks.
Yeah, free drinks. That's right. Downtown in St. Pete. Yeah. So did a hard launch of the new much better half, right? Than me. So we had a great weekend on Saturday afternoon and Sunday together, bouncing around St. Pete and hanging out with some of her friends and celebrating. She actually got an alumni tap into Florida Blue Key this weekend. So instead of going up there to celebrate her, we did that down here in St. Pete, which was awesome. On Saturday morning, I actually got to play in the Tampa Gator Club golf tournament. We were the defending champions, lost by one singular stroke. I'm not going to call out my buddy Derek's team for winning. Everything. Derek is an ethical fella. But that group looked a little bit more drunk than I imagined a winning team to be, to log an old 52 on the scorecard. So again, not alleging anything. Congratulations to Derek and his team. Lagway for president. I was just a bit flummoxed at the final score that was on that piece of paper, but well deserved to him. And shout out to the Tampa Gator Club. They raised a bunch of money for scholarships in the Tampa or Hillsborough County and Pasco County areas. So shout out to them. Always a great event.
Yeah, next year, if y'all need a golf cart driver, man, holla at your boy, man.
Absolutely. Yeah, I think they would love to see you. They'd love to. Everybody loves to see Uncle Silk in person. Everybody always asks. They're like, "Hey, Dan, how are you?" I'm like, "Good, man." Like, how's Corey doing? How's Silk doing? I'm like, I know. I'm second wheel today, often fourth wheel, but right now you can't take that from me.
No, that's good. That's good, man. Glad you enjoyed yourself, bruh. And I be missing stuff. So on the listen backs, I was hearing like last one show you said X, and I was like, whoa, man! Yeah. I found out in the middle of a show, baby.
We would talk about it. We'll talk about it more.
Yeah. Enough of that.
It's funny. I talk to people all the time about it. I was like, man, I really try to keep my work life, my podcast life, and my personal life very separate because I don't want them to be intermingled, and I don't want one thing here to affect something else, or like you just don't need to.
Yeah.
Speaking of, the old meet and greets, you don't want to cross streams all the time, right? So we can talk more about it after. Try to keep the personal life out of some of this, because there's a lot of people out there that I just don't need to know some of that stuff. So no, we appreciate everybody for watching. It is just going to be the two of us. We have a lot to talk about. If you are watching, if you could hit the like button, the subscribe button. If you have any super chats or just general chat and revelry in the comments, we appreciate everybody watching on YouTube and X right now. Corey, why don't you get into an ad read, and then we'll talk transfer portal first.
Already, man. One time for the great folks at Brunt Insurance and Financial Services. Anything you need insured from the Panhandle to the Keys or in Southeast America, my man Greg can take care of you. Home, auto, life insurance. He's been insuring my home for a very long time. Elite customer service, bruh. Brick and mortar, local business, support local business, but I'm pretty sure he can save you some money. It don't cost you a dime to visit bruntinsurance.com. See if he can save you some money there. If you're a phone person, 954-589-2204. It don't cost nothing to see if you can save some money, man. Brunt Insurance and Financial Services. You heard?
Before we get into that, Corey, I completely forgot it was on my first topic to talk about. I got stem cells today put in the old scalp so we can start regrowing hair. Can't put
I heard Trump put tariffs on that, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
got in on Friday. So I'm going to do that. Try to regrow the hair. The comments, everybody, the commentary, it finally got to me. So your boy's getting some stem cells. And if that doesn't work, might have to go to Turkey. Who knows? But we're going to try this first.
Yeah.
All right, let's talk a little bit about the transfer portal. Big news happened last week after the show. Freshman defensive or tackle, upcoming sophomore DeAndre Robinson, who's actually been on this program a few times, announced that he would be entering the transfer portal. And he did that a couple days ago, and over the weekend he committed to University of North Carolina and Bill Belichick up there. Obviously a loss just by name, and a guy that we liked very well as a part of this program, and a guy that maybe would have been a big contributor at UF. Probably not next season, but the season after that. But the Gators already a little bit thin at defensive tackle. We had heard that they were probably going to go after another name in the defensive tackle position, even before DeAndre Robinson left. So now DeAndre Robinson is going to be a North Carolina Tar Heel. And let's talk about that before we talk about who the Gators did grab over the weekend to replace him.
Yeah, I thought it was definitely caught me by surprise. It just wasn't a name. We was around him for the lag with, and if you go back and check that interview, he was excited about the season and where this team could go. I know there was some number conversation, and that was some people, depending on where you get your information from, the message boards, just excuse me, talking about the number change that he wanted. So there's a few things out there, but for the most part, I've been around him. It's just a super positive kid, personality, just a kid that's always smiling, laughing. Sorry.
You're on that. You need Nick's Allegra today,
Yeah, bro. I'm dying. Yeah, the pollen got me down 0-4 for sure, bro. I'm like LeBron with in the playoffs right now. But I just, when you see him, he's ready to do content. Just a positive kid, he's a good person, good engine to be around. So it caught me off guard when I seen that he hit the portal, and it was a blow. If you look at the inventory of the defensive tackles that was in when he jumped in, I was like, bro, there's nothing out there. We just lost a guy that's in our rotation. He's not a starter, so it's not to me. It's not hit the sounding alarm, and for evacuations or anything like that. It's just, all right, now we really got to get a tackle. We wanted one, but now we really got to get one. So early on was the Miami talk. Do I agree with him jumping out there? I'm never going to agree as a fan, but just from a business standpoint, I don't think the decision was a wise one. I think Chapman is a very great evaluator and also developer. I think he's one of those, all these coaches' faces are changing, right? And you get new names and new faces in college football. I think Chapman is one of those guys. And in the D-line room, they know what they're doing. And I think from a developmental standpoint, I don't think D-Rob is ready to be a starter, right?
No.
So if he goes to Carolina, it may work out in the ACC. Who knows? But from an SEC, looking at our roster competition, that room, no, I don't think he's ready for starter minutes. But I think starter snaps. But next season, yeah, I think he's going to be a force to be reckoned with. But you got to go through his development. I don't know what he's going to get. There's Belichick. I don't think that outfit is serious out. There's a couple reasons why I just don't like it. I know everybody want to go get money. Everybody want to get paid. But there's a bigger check, bruh. And the bigger check is what we just saw this past weekend, getting to the NFL. So I wouldn't be surprised if I seen him back in the portal again in the wintertime. Just depends on how this Belichick thing kick off. But overall, I don't think it was a good decision. It put Florida in a pickle. But Florida seemed to be prepared from what I've seen. I was the first one to kind of put out, who they were after and who they're trying to get on campus, and they end up getting them on campus. We'll talk about that in a little bit, but I'm glad he didn't go to Miami.
Yeah, no, for sure. This will be DeAndre Robinson's third school in 15 months. At some point, you've got to tough it out a little bit. You got to get developed. I know everybody wants a price tag and everything else, but at some point in time, you've got to stick around, I think, and develop. Bob Diaco is the coach at UNC. I also saw that Garrick McGee is on that UNC staff. So he was at Notre Dame. He was the UConn coach back. He was a special teams coordinator and an analyst at LSU the last 2 years. I don't know enough about him to say one thing or another. I do know that Gerald Chapman is, like you mentioned, one of the hottest names at the defensive line position, was very much courted by the Chicago Bears. And in fact, I think based on what you and I, have talked about and what we heard, there was a very strong likelihood that Gerald Chapman would have ended up being the defensive line coach of the Chicago Bears. So a guy that I think could have made a big impact in his career, but he wanted something else and something different. So congratulations to him for, securing that offer at UNC. I saw Gregory Smith, kind of same shenanigans with Miami involved. He's now visiting UNC. It looks like that might be a place that he is potentially going to go to as well. But not to, harp on that too much. We wish DeAndre Robinson the best, and hopefully that situation works out for him. The Gators did grab Baylor defensive tackle transfer Brendan Bett, who is 6'5", 300 pounds, originally from Texas, a guy that was recruited by Ron Roberts when he was at Baylor, was ranked the number 27 defensive tackle in the nation, the number 97 overall player on the defensive line, and the number 156th best player in high school. He played quite a bit his freshman year, played in 10 games, had a start against Houston, was ranked as the fourth highest rated interior lineman in college football this year. This past year did redshirt the season. Not going to get into the reasons why. It's not important. We don't know. It's conjecture at this point. He did end up playing in the Texas Bowl game against LSU, but the Gators went, targeted him, got him on campus, and got his commitment just about as quickly as D-Rob committed to UNC.
Yeah, I think this was a guy allegedly. Nobody told me this.
Parody show.
Yeah, this is a parody show. It's like, and I'm not gonna just gonna say it one time. What up, my guy? Gator Ryan, my dude, hanging out. I see you. Gator Ray. What's up with it, man? Everybody hanging out in the comments. Y'all hit like. It don't cost nothing to hit like. Don't be a hater. Comment, engage, hang out with us. Super chat is also available if you want to jump the line, got questions, But from the looks of it, right, we needed a defensive tackle already. So I wouldn't be surprised if there's some relationships there with prior with Ron Roberts. Also Chapman had a prior relationship with the kid as well. So there were some relationships already there. I wouldn't be surprised if the wheels were already in motion. Just looking at how the parents responded to a few things, and it looked like he already had the portal in his mind. But the timing was impeccable, right? Like doing it was just super impeccable.
It's a magic,
Yeah, kid takes one visit right to Florida, and everything just bada boom, bada bing, baby.
And we had our affairs in order, That's what happens when you get lucky. It's when preparation meets opportunity. We were just in the right place at the right time.
Yes, all that lingo, man. So shout out to the staff, man. Like from it depends on how you look at it. This kid started as a true freshman. He started one game versus Houston as a true freshman in the Big 12. You know, that's big time football. The hardest place to start in Division I football as a true freshman is defensive tackle. The closer you get to the football, the tougher it is to play as a true freshman. So for him to start as a true freshman at defensive tackle in the Big 12 speaks to his athleticism and his ceiling of like how good he can be. So I don't think there's a drop off talent-wise. And I said this before it got cool and popular, right? When I heard his name, I just started doing my research, looking at what high school tape I think he was underevaluated in high school. The coach at Baylor, he has a good eye for talent. He's from the SEC. You know, he's not winning games, but evaluating talent, Baylor hasn't been missing a whole lot.
Mm-hmm.
So when you look at the size comparable, you know, size makeup, we watched D-Rob play last year where he showed some flashes. Nothing said that he was irreplaceable, right? So I think just from a skill standpoint, size standpoint, ceiling, I think there's no drop-off, in my opinion. Unless you want to go by high school rankings, that's on you, but that don't really matter right now. I don't think there's a big drop-off if there's any.
Right.
It's my take.
Yeah, I think the one thing that Florida now, you know, still want that second defensive tackle, you know, with obviously Brendan Bett in there, looking through the list of uncommitted transfer portal defensive tackles right now, and the list is just pretty bleak right now. I think that Florida is either going to have to go the JUCO route, don't even know if that opportunity exists anymore, or really just hope, you know, there's Dylan Battle. You know, I'm just naming names here. Dylan Battle, Justin Kirkland. You know, these are some uncommitted names from some larger schools. But just looking at this list top to bottom, I just don't know where Florida might be able to get that next defensive tackle. So they might just be lean there. Obviously, they do get Caleb Banks back this year, and he's expected to have a pretty big impact in this upcoming season. But, you know, I think the one thing that we talked about.
Lions and Caleb are the ones to watch, like, you know, bouncing back from sitting out spring.
Right. Okay. I think the one thing that we talked about a couple weeks ago, just about the transfer portal, is it just Florida. I like Florida's roster a lot, and I think that there's a lot of reason to like Florida's roster. I think it's recruited well. I think it's been built up well. The one question that we talked about back when like Kelby Collins and those kind of guys were leaving is like just that those depth pieces are not there as much. So you're going to need a Micah Boyro, you're going to need a Shivers, and you're going to need some of these other young guys who haven't played a ton to be able to step up.
Yeah, I think Micah Burrow, I think he's going to have I think he would find a defensive tackle. I know everybody's saying we need one, right? But I think we're fine. I think the young boys are going to step up and play big time football. We was beating Georgia, the Bamas of the world for the defensive tackles in our room. So the evaluations are there. You know, the talent is there. They just you gotta put them out there. Nobody wants to see what the young boys can do. They want to bring in somebody from the portal that's got proven stats. That's what all the fans want. But no, you got to play the young boys. They got to develop. They got to grow. Right. Put them out there. Put Burrow out there. He's a sophomore. What we waiting on? I
mean, these are the guys that you wanted in high school, right? So
yeah, put them out there.
We've always said that the transfer portal should augment your recruiting strategy, and I think that you're seeing that. You know, I know Brandon Connell here in the stat, Brian Taylor, and Brown potentially stepping up into that defensive tackle position. I know Brian Taylor's a guy that the staff.
Go ahead. I didn't mean to cut you off. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to cut you off.
Go ahead.
I'm curious about both of those guys because they're I think they're good, but I think they're a little undersized than what the staff usually likes at that position. So while I think they could like contribute and give us some snaps, I don't know how many, you know, that would be a good idea for guys their size. So that's why like Burrow, I jumped to like younger guys like Burrow before those, and I've been hearing good things about Brian Taylor and Brown, to be honest with you, but I could just see it on paper that they're smaller than what they usually like at defensive tackle. You feel me?
Yeah, you're 100% right. I mean, Brian Taylor 6'4.5", 278. Caleb Banks is 6'5 3/4", 329. Micah Boyru 6'4.5", 355. Jamari Lyons is 6'3.5", 308. and Tavreese Brown is 6 3/4 and 290 pounds. And Stephon Shivers is 6'4", 399 pounds of just pure muscle.
Yeah, I think we fine, bro. Like I'm be honest, I think with getting Bett, I think we're good. Yeah. People be scared to play the young boys, man. They want to go get proven things. It makes them feel better when they go to sleep at night. Getting a guy that you've seen done it already out of the portal, but there's nobody in it. Everything that's in the portal, I'd rather play my young boys than get any of that mud. Let Miami offer everybody. We cool.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
We don't have that many spots left either. Like,
right,
we're already over, really. And we're still talking to Patterson and another DB. So it's like the numbers got to make sense too. Like, who you kicking out?
I believe we're at 86. So you had Patterson potentially. Now you're at 87. And the SEC has already said, or at least so far, that they're not following the 105 scholarship plan that the Big Ten's doing and some of the other programs are doing. So right now you do have 2 losses. They did add Aiden Warner, so I don't even know where that puts on that on the list. Now are they at 87, potentially 88? Obviously these things have a way of working themselves out. They always do. But just another thing, right? It's very, very hard in college football to build a completely balanced roster the way that you want to, especially you as a fan would want to. So at the end of the day, Florida might go in and there's some talent. And like you said, Corey, you recruited these guys. It's an opportunity for them to go make an impact and not necessarily just rush to the portal the second you need to. Would it have been nice to keep D-Rob and get Brendan Bett? I think so, but also you want players that want to play for you and are going to be an impact in the room that they're going to be in. So, these things happen, but we'll see. And, welcome Brendan Bett to the University of Florida and to wearing the orange and blue. We talked about him briefly. Zaquan Patterson, the safety from Miami, canceled a Tennessee visit. Ole Miss took another safety in the transfer portal. Right now, it seems like stars might be aligning for him to have the Will Harris for Zaquan Patterson trade go through. Anything that you're hearing on your end, because you're a little bit more plugged in than I am. Even some of the beat writers are a little more plugged in.
Yeah, I'm here. Like you said, Ole Miss, they got somebody, and I think there's an Oklahoma State trip that may happen. But nothing's concrete there. But Tennessee may spin the block as well because they just lost the safety in the portal. So who knows if Tennessee tries to set that trip back up. But from what I'm hearing, we're in a good position to land them. They're out to him and another DB as well. Either one don't really predicate anything. They're out to a couple DBs to close out this thing here. And in my opinion as well, do we need Patterson? No, I don't think so. If we getting Patterson, we getting him to come and play some special teams, develop, but I don't think he's a guy that's going to jump into the rotation. I like both freshmen, true freshmen that we brought in. I like both of them to get reps over him. I think they have a higher ceiling. They've been here spring already, so I don't think he's good enough to jump them. So if Patterson does come here, he's coming to in my opinion, develop, play some more next year, but I don't think he gets like a lot of meaningful snaps this year.
Yeah, I mean, Florida is still returning some help, or some of the safeties that they had last year. Obviously, they have a couple of young guys. Lagonza Hayward is a guy that everybody's super excited about, and Drake Stubbs there at the safety position. What does Florida do? What does Florida need? How much are they willing to spend? We talked a lot about that last week, so we're not going to talk about value of players anymore and how can they help and how can they contribute. Obviously, you want great talent, and as a highly rated recruit out of high school, obviously brings a lot of skill to the position. But, I know Florida's stance is going to be, this is what we offer. I don't think that they're going to get into a bidding war over him, and I think this is a cherry on top more than anything, just looking at this roster, the way that it is built right now. So, again, you always want the best talent to come in. You want to make that best talent make the other talent work hard. But that is a name that you guys have all heard. And then do you want to talk about the other name? It was just mentioned in the chat. So the DB out of Michigan State.
Just text it to you. Where was it?
Yeah, no, Dylan Tatum.
That's his name, Dylan Tatum.
Yeah, Dylan Tatum out of Michigan State was injured this past season. Played 3 years total. He played in 2022, had 14 tackles. 1 pass deflection, played in 2023, 45 tackles, was 7 pass deflections, no career interceptions, originally from Farmington Hills, Michigan. A connection to William Peagler back when Peagler was on staff at Michigan State. Looks like a guy that could, play. Obviously has some good experience, but more of a rotational guy than probably a starter.
Yeah, he's going into his money year, so it's interesting. Like he's got one to play. He's got some good suitors after him as well. We'll see how it all plays out. But he's visiting tomorrow, which is a good sign.
Yep.
I wouldn't mind adding a veteran to the safety room. But just like last year, I think these senior guys, you got 1 year, you playing with fire, coming down here thinking you just get you a spot and enjoy the sunshine. Like these young boys held down their spots last year with the Asa Turners and some of the other people that came.
I know you didn't mean to call him Asa instead of like Asa, but it's kind of funny when you
bad,
consider what happened in the first week.
Oh, no disrespect.
No, it's no disrespect. Just kind of funny.
Yeah, no disrespect, man. Definitely wasn't no fun there. Yeah, I think all these veteran guys, like he may come and we could use him. But he very well may be a depth piece, bro, to be real with you. Like, so these guys that have 1 year to get film to go to the NFL, like,
may not make sense.
It may not.
Yeah.
Because it's a lot of talent in that second. And I don't know if we need ball hawks back there. He ain't got no interceptions.
Yeah.
And
8 career pass deflections.
No, I don't need you to knock it down. My coach told me I get anybody to do that, son. I need the ball back.
I have 0 sacks, 0 forced fumbles, 0 fumble recoveries, and 0 interceptions. Not saying that he couldn't get them at his next school, but that's another name. I don't know enough about Dylan Tatum to give you an educated guess. Yeah, totally. So that's where the Gators are right now as of what time is it? 7:00 on April 28th. These things move and change quickly. The portal is closed. You might see, I think schools have 48 hours. So you're going to see some names trickle in over the next couple of hours and potentially next day or so. But those names have been submitted or will be submitted. So you still might hear a few over the next day or so. So just be on the lookout there. Let's give a quick shout out before we get to the NFL draft to our friends over at Home Field Apparel. Go visit homefieldapparel.com. Use promo code Stadium and Gale at checkout. You get 15% off of your order. One of the best places to go for some elite vintage looking logos for the Florida Gators basketball national championship, as well as for all sports. They've got track and field, baseball, softball, obviously football as well. Pardon me. So go visit homefieldapparel.com. Use promo code Stadium and Gale, get 15% off of your order. All right, Corey, big day, our big weekend in the NFL draft. The Gators again continue their consecutive streak of having a player drafted in every year since 1967. I actually looked at why they considered 1967, if that just was like the first year they had somebody drafted after not having somebody drafted. And I guess it's just what they consider the modern era. So call me stupid. Why am I hosting a football podcast and didn't know that? But anyway, I've had a player drafted every year since 1967. The most players that they've had drafted since 2021, 7 total players drafted, which is more than we thought, at least more than I thought.
I thought we'd get more.
You thought we'd get more?
I thought Badger would get drafted too. But overall, very good day. But it also speaks to what we said all last offseason. Like this team wasn't talent deficient. And we should have went and got 10 wins. Like this was a very talented team. When you got 7 draft picks and you look at all the talent that we bringing in, like putting on the field this year, it's a lot of talent in Gainesville, bro. So there's no issue with the talent. It's a good thing to go recruit with. Like they're getting this program is getting set up all we gotta do is win to make the playoffs, but they're getting set up to go on a run. To be honest with you, man, you know, if you go win some football games and make it to playoffs after putting 7 guys, they already recruiting well. So if they got the ammunition of, hey, man, you see Graham Mertz,
yeah,
now you can telling quarterbacks, top tier quarterbacks, like everything I'm touching, like getting drafted. Pause. But he's getting drafted. We know what Ladley about to do. That's 3 you're gonna have 3 in a row that goes straight to the NFL. And our ops, the other 2 programs in the state, they haven't grabbed anybody from the high school range, developed it all the way to pro. And then we got Gators that are pulling up in Gainesville, staying Gators and going pro at the quarterback position, you know. So it just speaks, man, that they're putting together a good outfit. They just got to win some football games. But I was impressed with the numbers because when they put that top 10 graphic of the programs that put players in the NFL, Florida was in it another year. So that was dope.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And if you look at the guys that got drafted and what their high school ratings were and what they got developed into, let's just run down the list. Dike, obviously the transfer from Wisconsin, was the first Gator drafted, round 4, pick 103. He's going to connect with Cam Ward there with the Tennessee Titans last season, 783 yards, 4.3440. A guy that was not originally invited to the combine goes and does a great performance out at the Hula Bowl in Hawaii, gets invited to the Senior Bowl, gets invited to the NFL combine, blazes through that, and, you know, gets drafted round 4, pick 103. So shout out to Dike, a guy that 1 year ago, right after the orange and blue game, there are some question marks, right? It didn't look like a draftable wide receiver in that first one. So shout out to him. Very well deserved. Great season for the Florida Gators, and a guy that absolutely improved his draft stock there and gets to live in Nashville, which is a great place to go. Cam Jackson, drafted 5th round, pick 140 to the Carolina Panthers. Actually, the second player ever drafted by the Carolina Panthers behind
Jordan Scarlett.
Jordan Scarlett. That's right. So Cam Jackson's going to head up there. Again, the transfer from Memphis, started 22 games for Florida, 69 tackles, 4.5 tackles for loss, and a guy that I think can have a big impact. We had a great interview with him a couple of months ago. If you want to go check that out, I think Cam Jackson definitely has an opportunity to not only bolster that depth for right now, but have a nice steady career in the NFL.
100%.
Cool. So that's 2 trades for. Oh, go ahead.
I like the destination of both of those guys too, man. I think Chim is gonna go provide some buckets. You know, hopefully my man Travis Hunter shut him down. You know, like we do our thing out there in Jacksonville. Shout out to Travis Hunter. But I think he got a good quarterback to throw him some balls. He can stretch the field, so it's a good spot for him. And Cam Jackson is just going to be a NFL 10-year guy. Like he's a guy that's going to play 10+ years just because of his athleticism, size, you know, and everything he brings to the table. So good programs, I would say, and good establishments. Franchises is the word. Good franchises to play for, both of those.
Absolutely. And then Jason Marshall, round 5, pick 150 by Miami Dolphins. Obviously,
terrible place.
Man.
Terrible place.
They could definitely use some DB help, that's for sure. So one of the first Gators drafted there in quite some time. So excited to see Jason Marshall with the Gators. So again, that was round 5, pick 150. 2 picks later, round 5, pick 152 by the Dallas Cowboys, Shemar James, a guy that had a bit of an up and down career at the University of Florida, but, has all the athleticism in the world, has the opportunity to play on a relatively good defense around some solid players on the Dallas Cowboys. Any thoughts on Shemar James or Jason Marshall, other than you disagree with Miami Dolphins being the best team in Florida?
Yeah, you don't believe that, bro?
No, I don't. Not anymore.
No, you shouldn't. We just got Travis Hunter, bro. We got 2 players in the first round. Jason Marshall gets to go back home to Miami, bro. I think that's dope, right? But it also cannot be dope as well, depending on how your family's set up. Yeah. But I think it's dope that he's down there in Miami. I'm pretty sure he enjoyed not leaving the state of Florida, man. So good story for him.
There you go.
Shemar, bro, I'm just in Dallas. Dallas is a nice city, bro. I think it's a good spot for him. He's not a partier or, you know, a guy that's making a lot of putting a lot of tension on himself. So he's pretty chill. I think Dallas is a good place for him. He'll vibe out a little bit. You got to see, bro, because you got to make the roster still, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, not guaranteed at the 4th or 5th round. So definitely an opportunity to make those rosters. Brandon Connell, shout out to him. First player drafted by the Miami Dolphins since Jelani Jenkins, also an alumnus of the Stadium and Gale podcast. After that, maybe a surprise. Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
That was an early interview. That was back when we were just doing it on the phone, when we used to do like 3 interviews an episode. And then maybe a surprise to some, quarterback Graham Mertz, drafted round six, pick 197. I did find it funny that the Houston Texans, who drafted him, did announce that the Gator boy stayed hot when probably a large contingent of their fan base is fans of the team that those Gator boys stayed hot against. But despite, you know, obviously the torn ACL, which limited him last season, very well known for his leadership in coaching that he did. Very accurate quarterback at Pro Day, and also his 2 seasons at the University of Florida, is going to compete for a backup role. I don't know what it looks like behind CJ Stroud, and obviously getting drafted in the 6th round, it's tough to make a roster, but to see Graham Mertz after kind of everything that he went through, the memes that were available online when he transferred, I think really the only one that was out there was Graham Mertz is not good. And then coming into Florida and getting drafted is certainly, you know, well-recognized honor for him. And certainly the best of luck for him in Houston.
No, it's good, man. I think he's perfect for NFL backup quarterback. You know, he's not going to turn the ball over a lot. He's going to play safe. He's going to do things that backups should do. I don't think he's going to be a superstar, but like people keep thinking like backup, those are good back. That's a good check. That's a great job.
Yeah.
That's a great job. Kyle Trask is just vibing. You know, Emory Jones is just vibing. So if those guys, in my opinion, can make NFL rosters, I think Graham Mertz can make an NFL roster and be a backup for at least 4 or 5 years in the NFL.
Yeah, and I mean, definitely a backup quarterback or even a practice squad quarterback. Right. He's going to probably get a couple $100,000 signing bonus. Typical contract is usually, I'm looking it up on ChatGPT right now, right? Because I don't know this off the dome. Rookie minimum $795. Usually get 3 or 4 year contracts. So $3 to $4 million. Obviously, you have to stay on the roster and everything else. But hey, getting a $200,000 signing bonus if you can make the roster, even if you can make the practice roster where you're making less money, still not a bad job. And you're not going to get beat up as a practice quarterback either.
Yeah, you're not going to get beat up as no quarterback in the NFL.
That's true. That's true.
There's flags out there now, man.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, and then round 6, pick 216. If you're going to be a punter, probably a great place to go. That's Denver, Colorado. Jeremy Crawshaw gets picked, 45.8 yards per punt last season. Only punter that was drafted in this draft. It's a shout out. I mean, I know Nick would be hyping him up right now.
Yeah.
Something about Aussie or booming onions or something. So congratulations, Jeremy Crawshaw. I think getting drafted as a kicker or punter is obviously pretty rare. Sometimes you might see 1 or 2, but Denver, Colorado. I mean, mile high and punt a mile high. So, and then finally, Trikweze Bridges, round 7, pick 256 to the Los Angeles Chargers. Obviously transferred from Oregon, had a great season last season, was not invited to the combine. And so he really had to prove it on tape and in his pro day. Ends up getting drafted. Not all combine picks get drafted, but there's a heck of a lot more that don't go to the combine that definitely don't get drafted. So to be able to not go to the combine and still get drafted is certainly an honor and a privilege for for Trikweze, and super excited to see what he can do potentially in LA. Obviously, being round 7, pick 256, it's going to be a hard battle to make that roster, make that practice roster. But if he showed anything at the University of Florida, he's got a lot of resiliency and played very sound football, and hopefully his best football is ahead of him.
Special teams, man. You gotta make plays in that. And I think he's a guy that can make he's a good DB, but I think he can bring some value to the special teams. I think Shemar that's what a role Shemar is gonna have to take on early as well. Just you gotta make plays in different ways in the NFL to keep getting those checks, man. So all the young guys, most of them ain't gonna come in and start, but to make that roster, you gotta be able to do more than one thing.
Absolutely. So of the Gators that got drafted, of the 7 of them, Dike was a transfer. Cam Jackson was a transfer. Graham Mertz was a transfer. And Trikweze Bridges was a transfer. So I think that Florida developed those guys. I don't know of that group. Bridges was not going to get drafted. Graham Mertz, we don't really know because he had 2 years at Florida where he might have gone. But his career at Wisconsin definitely wasn't heading him towards draft status. Dike, kind of the same, had an off year that Graham Mertz wasn't there. And then Cam Jackson, don't know what he would develop at Memphis, but obviously being able to show up in the SEC and contribute the way that he did probably raise his draft stock. So no reason for me to believe that that's not a great selling point for the Florida Gators coaching staff when they're out recruiting guys in the transfer portal, their ability to develop this talent.
Yes, sir. Shout out to Billy's quarterback evals and developing. Nobody thought Graham Mertz was getting drafted.
No,
I couldn't find one of my old tweets, but no, everybody, it was a joke. And we was giving him an outside shot. If he had stayed healthy this whole season, I had him getting drafted. And I said that in our show last year that if he plays the whole season, I think he gets drafted. Without playing the whole season, without really, doing anything at a combine. He did everything pro day to get drafted at that spot. That's good development.
Yeah.
That's good. The kid made a good decision to come to UF, and I think Billy made a good decision in bringing him in. It was a good eval. He served his purpose. I think he passed the baton over to Lagway, the tutoring and bringing Lagway along, which Miss Lagway spoke of when she came on the show, and others talk about behind the scenes. I think he was good for the job that he was given to come to University of Florida, and his dreams came true. He got drafted, bro. That's what it's about. Don't listen to people, bro. Now, like Mertz could have easily believed what everybody was saying on Twitter. If he was searching his name at that time when he first transferred, like you go blow your brains out, bro. Yeah. But you can't listen to people, bro. You gotta believe in yourself, lock in, and that's what Graham Mertz did. I damn near shed a tear when I seen that boy on the phone, man. I was like, bro, that's dope. Like having doubters, haters, people talk about your game, and you find a way to make your dream still come true, bro. That's what it's about right there, bro. That's why I watch this shit, bro. Like for real. Like sometimes you're gonna win a national championship in a lifetime, bro. It's more the stories in between it, bro. Like, guys, like you said, being resilient and finding ways to win in life. Ball, all that. I'm getting preachy, but you know what I'm talking about.
Well, yeah, keep preaching, brother. You're speaking to the preaching to the choir here. No, it's 100%. Only 270 guys get drafted every year. There's a hell of a lot more players. There's thousands of players that graduate that are eligible. In fact, we're all eligible to be drafted into the NFL. Corey, your name still could be called.
Yeah, it could be. I think Mario called me first, though.
Yeah. I'm eligible, right? I still haven't gotten that famed phone call or even a prank phone call about getting drafted. So congratulations to those guys that got drafted. Don't want to diminish their stars of those that were undrafted either. Desmond Watson is going to the Buccaneers, opportunity to get under the tutelage of one of the better defensive tackles in Vita Vea there for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. The Buccaneers drafted the skinniest player and got the heaviest player in the same draft cycle here in Tampa Bay.
The city.
Yeah, Desmond Watson's a relatively local kid. If you would have told most people when Florida signed Des Watson and then watched his first couple years at Florida, I don't think anybody had him on any sort of early undrafted free agent list. And he was one of the first names that I saw get drafted. Obviously had a great year as a space eater. Saw that he's down about 21 pounds, is really focused on losing that weight. And I would imagine whatever strength and conditioning program Tampa Bay has him in. Hell, just even being outside right now, probably shed a few pounds. So congratulations to Des Watson for being undrafted free agent by the Bucs and potentially being, on the defensive line or maybe even RB3 or 4 for them. Elijah Badger, a name that I thought could be announced Thursday through Saturday. He ends up with the Chiefs. Patrick Mahomes, there's an opportunity there for a wide receiver to make an impact. They've been searching for some help at that wide receiver position. Obviously a pretty surefire catcher there in Elijah Badger. Brennan Crenshaw-Dixon also to the Titans. He has an opportunity on that offensive line. Jamarcus Weston to the Jets. I think he signed had a $200,000 signing bonus. So that's a guy that they wanted and went after and dumped a lot of bread. A lot of these guys aren't making
pay for undrafted free agent. Like right out the Billy went lying.
Yeah, I mean, we just talked about how 6th round guys get usually $200,000 sign on bonus, 100 to 200,000. So for him to go get that, Billy said Jamarcus could have left a year early, stuck around. And here he is, probably a huge opportunity to be on special teams, a versatile player.
That's crazy.
It's just a shame that he has to play for the Jets. And then Montrell Johnson.
If he goes and has like a 10-year career in special teams, but never started at University of Florida, that'd be a crazy stat, right? They never really start, but go on and be an NFL vet because you're good at special teams.
I mean, he was a fantastic special teams player. And, I think the NFL wants those guys that are willing to throw their bodies and the guys are in the right place at the right time.
So y'all thought I just lied about Muck Kids, but apparently he was pretty good.
Yeah. Yeah. And then finally is Montrell Johnson, again, a guy that was potentially a guy that was going to get drafted or hear his name, signs with the Eagles to potentially earn one of those backup spots behind Saquon Barkley. And obviously a great guy to learn under no matter how long you're in Philadelphia.
I like the Badgers to Kansas City. I think it's a good spot for him.
Yeah. Oh, 100%. Opportunity for, all these guys to earn their reps and earn their stripes in the NFL. And, I think if anything, they all have determination. I think they all want to be there. These guys have struggled through a lot. And yes, reason why some of these undrafted free agents can't make maybe some active rosters, but definitely some practice rosters as well. And we certainly wish the best for all of them in their next step. I think rookie training camp is going to start here in the not too distant future. So hopefully we see some good highlights out of those guys. That brings us to the end of NFL draft talk. Corey, you want to talk anything about the Sanders stuff, or you just want to park it for a different conversation?
No, we can. Why not? It's just 2 of us today. We got
just
time.
The 2 of us. Obviously a guy that Mel Kiper was
starting to groove.
Mel Kiper had him for 41 hours as the best player available in the draft.
That was hot.
Yeah. Did you see him and Reese get after it?
Yeah, man. Like I thought he was prime. Like, who sent you?
Yeah, he did look like a paid assassin, right?
Yeah, like Prime sent you, bro. Like he paid you to come. It was a good time. I enjoyed this draft, bro. I'm actually back interested in NFL again. I vaguely watch it, and I'm not like a fanatic of pro football because I just don't have the bandwidth. But these storylines, like I think there's a lot of good talent. The draft this weekend, like Travis Hunter going to the Jags. I got to be pulling up the lie a little bit this fall, bro. So I'm excited about it. But
best thing to happen in Jacksonville since when? Well, Travis Hunter's the best thing to happen to Jacksonville since what? It was founded?
Whoa.
I'm talking about the city as a whole.
Best thing
maybe
to happen.
Since the creation of Jackson Beach.
Best thing for me to happen in Jacksonville is my mother be born there. That's the best.
Oh, shout out to your mom. Yeah. Silk's mom, then Jack's Beach being founded.
Yeah, there you go. Then Travis, somewhere around there, bro.
I know that GM really wanted to make an impact. Young guy, first time as a GM, talked a lot about being aggressive, so went out and made that pick. And I don't think they overspent on Travis Hunter. I think that, you know, if you're a team that has the ability to play him on both sides of the football, like he could be a generational player. And if not, that's a guy worth taking a shot on, at least in my opinion. I think when it comes to Shedeur, I don't know. It seemed to me like he was falling on draft boards and on projections of where he might get drafted the last couple of weeks leading up. I don't know what changed or if it was the reality of the situation all along. You get a lot. You get more than just a backup quarterback now. And I don't know if any team was going to take him as their potential starting quarterback going into next year. And it kind of reminds me in a way of the Tim Tebow hype. Very similar. Like, and not just even when Tim Tebow got drafted, but, you know, with the Jets and with the Patriots, and then his like short stint as tight end for Jacksonville, like you have a lot that comes with it. And are you willing to, you get a huge media circus. And so I think with that, you know, it's a risk. You know, this is a professional establishment, and it's not, you may not want the circus that might come with it. How is he going to be received in the locker room? And I don't know anything about him as an individual, right? I've never met him. I never want anybody to not be successful, right? And I hope he gets the opportunity to prove it on the field. But I think that that's probably what did it. I think he made some poorly calculated mistakes in the pre-draft process. I think he flew a little bit too above the radar and garnered a lot of media attention and a lot of attention by other coaches and teams that it is maybe just not worth the potential headache. And not even that he would be, but just the potential of it. It's hard, man. And these GMs often get one or two draft classes to make it work, unless you're the Dolphins and are afraid to fire your GM. Other than that, like, you have to nail it. And if that is not a fit to what you're trying to build, then it's not a surprise. I mean, maybe it's a surprise that he went in the 5th round, but I'm not surprised.
I'm definitely shocked he went in the 5th round. That caught me off guard. But I believe the rumors there and the smoke that was coming out pre-draft about him slipping. It's just because a lot of things I've been discussing, like, and I like Deion, I rock with him, but you know, you can like people and still disagree with things they do, right? You don't have to be 100% one way in or out with people. You could, I rock with him, but I don't like that he do this. You know, like it's my favorite athlete all time, but I don't like, you know, and I like that he's coaching his son, but I don't like the way he does this with his son. So a lot of things they were doing, I thought, you know, the media, he's been on the media run talking about his son in the draft for 2 years, saying he was gonna, you know, tell teams no, not to draft him, pull the Manning thing. You're a head coach. You're not just his dad. Now, if you're just his dad and you're not his head coach going on that media tour, it hits different. And then teams also know that they got to deal with Deion. Like, I'm bringing in Deion as well. He's already been on this media circuit tour talking about how he's going to control his son's draft process and, you know, things he wants. And a lot of it comes off as entitlement. So I thought he should have backed away from his ego a little bit. I know he has a persona that he wants to be out there. His dad having that persona is one thing, playing defensive back. You having that persona as a quarterback, it comes off very Willie Beeman-ish, you know, like, and a lot of teams don't want all of that energy. Like, this kid is going to be, if he gets good, right, I think in 3 years when he starts clicking, he's going to be a mega star wherever he's at. Like, he's in Cleveland right now. It's going to be like LeBron. Like, he brings a lot of attention, a lot of media. Everybody don't want to deal with that, you know, and I get that from a lot of different franchises. The Deion thing, you know, it be some racism. I wouldn't doubt it, but I don't think it's not that simple. Like, black quarterbacks were drafted, you know, ahead of him. So it's not a black thing. And it's not even addressing hip hop or being urban thing, because those other quarterbacks are urban. Jalen Hurts is urban. All like they're used to it now. It's not a big thing. But I think there's that prime, Deion, that family, they made some mistakes. I think Deion could have led a little bit better. He shouldn't have went on a media tour. He should have did like every other coach do with their QB1. You got to leave the family at the house. Yeah. You go talking, we doing football talk, and I'm your coach. I'm not going to sit on couches and talk about your draft process, because no other coach would do that with their quarterback for 2 years, talking about I'm gonna let draft them. So, and then he didn't interview with every team. Like, he just made mistakes, bro. Like, if you already got a reputation of being arrogant, entitled,
prima
donna in the draft process, if you bought business, right? Like, you put your persona to the side. I think he just bought too much into the persona. I think they're good people, but they also entertain and they bring a certain level of entertainment to get,
the clicks and views and everything else. Yeah,
to get bread off it. That's how they built their platform. So I get it. I get why he slid. It happens. But you make the bed, you gotta lay in it. I think they made that bed a little bit.
Yeah, Cleveland is an interesting place. Obviously, they still have Deshaun Watson. They have Joe Flacco. They drafted Dylan Gabriel and Shedeur Sanders. So definitely an interesting circumstance for them to be in. Deshaun Watson's obviously very expensive. Joe Flacco's old, but has that experience. And you got Dylan Gabriel and Shedeur Sanders there. Mistakes were probably – say what?
He draft 2 quarterbacks in the same draft, man. That's
two picks. Yeah, like two picks apart, I think. That's just nasty work. But certainly you can't transfer anymore. I mean, you cannot sign your contract, I guess, but I doubt he's going to do that. So again, I don't know. I agree with everything that you said. There's part of race relations that I don't want to feel comfortable talking about because I'm not in the same position as well. I think Deion Sanders can be a certain type of way if you're a certain talent. There's more leeway, right? Also, if you're one of the best defensive backs in history, and oh, by the way, you're a starting outfielder in Major League Baseball at the same time, right? Like you have a little bit more space for some clout or the way that you can handle yourself. But now he's QB4, in Cleveland. Don't wish that on anybody. Don't wish that on my worst enemy to have to spend time in Cleveland. But he's got an opportunity now to earn his spot there. So,
all right, gun to your head. You gotta live in Cleveland or Jacksonville.
Jack's Beach, baby. In a heartbeat. I love Jacksonville. I always love Jacksonville. You give me those two options. Always love Jacksonville. Huge fan. Duval.
Yes, sir. No, don't do that one. Duval. No, we're getting rid of that one.
But ultimately, congratulations to all 7 of those guys that got drafted and the guys that got drafted, or undrafted and got the opportunity to earn their spot onto an NFL roster as well. Let's give a quick shout out to our friends over at Game Time Sidekicks. If you think this cup is pretty cool, I know I do, or this Gator Boys cup as well, go visit them over at GameTimeSidekicks.com. You can use promo code Stadium15 at checkout. I don't know of another brand that drops more different styles and different logos than they do. So go check them out. It's going to keep your hot drinks hot, your cold drinks cold. Again, a fantastic product, and not just because they sponsor this show. Everybody that I've given one always asks where they can go order more. So again, GameTimeSidekicks.com, promo code Stadium15 at checkout. In the world of basketball and the transfer portal there, Gators are looking at, and looks very possible that they might land Desmond Claude, the guard from Xavier, who started his career at Xavier, spent the last 2 seasons at USC, 6'6", 15.8 points per game, 4.2 assists per game, and 3.5 rebounds per game. Could be a big addition to that guard room, especially as the Gators are looking for probably one additional guard right now.
Yeah, I like it.
He's a good player.
Yeah. I mean, wouldn't be sad about anybody that was sad about Aberdeen is probably over it. Or you should be over it pretty quick. When we run down on Kentucky, y'all will feel a lot better. Sit tight.
No, absolutely. No, Desmond Claude, again, I'm not a basketball guy. I don't know what makes a good player or not. I know that I kind of do. right? And not that ignorant about it, but a guy that is near the top of a lot of the transfer portal rankings when it comes to basketball, a guy that I know has a very clear interest in Florida. Florida has a very clear interest in them, or in him, pardon me, and could make a huge change and upgrade, a potential upgrade to that room. Started last season at USC, has more points, more assists, more rebounds than Aberdeen did. And that's the way you have to look at it, is if you're going to replace one guy with another, obviously add Xavier Lee into that mix as well. And it looks like the Gators are going to be potentially sitting in a really good spot going into next year, as well as the addition of the guys from their recruiting class as well, including Alex Lloyd and CJ Ingram. Two additional names are still Ben Henshaw from Australia. Still some talks that he might explore the NBA draft. Average 24. I made that up. He didn't average 24 points per game. He averaged 9.4 points per game. 9.4 points per game. 3.25 rebounds per game. 2.6 assists and a steal per game. Playing overseas in the Perth for the Perth Wildcats of the National Basketball League there in Arizona. He also played for the Otago Nuggets and the Sydney. No, he didn't play for the Sydney Kings. He played for the Wildcats again in 2024 and 2025. So he moved to the U.S. to begin his campaign to get potentially drafted in the NBA draft. Also a chance that he might come to Florida. And then finally, Andre Stojakovic, who is Peja's son, which definitely makes me feel old, is a guy that has interest in Florida. Florida has interest in him. He's got a lot of visits that he's got on his radar. Never mind. Sorry. He picked Illinois. We should have talked about that before the show. He went to Illinois. Shout out to my buddy Matt. He's an Illinois fan. So never mind. Just ignore this segment. Pretend, watch Peja's son at Illinois. So that kind of brings us to the end of the show, Corey. I mean, I'm not sure what other topics. Want to congratulate the men's golf team. Won the SEC tournament. I believe that's their 17th time doing so.
Yeah, we're not going to talk baseball because we want to jinx anything. Nick not talking about baseball. Now they on the heater, so let's stay out of the way.
Big series win against Arkansas. They were ranked number 5 in the country there. So, I mean, we're just not going to talk about him. Amanda Lorenz and Skylar Lawrence were selected to the USA Women's Softball National Team for 2025 in China, which is pretty awesome. So, yeah, I mean, that's kind of brings us to the end. Kind of a lot of just news and nuggets today, more than anything. Is it's just the two of us.
Well, you give Shannon Sharp some advice before we get out of here, man. What would you do?
Stop talking.
That's great.
First and foremost.
That's great advice, man. Stop talking.
Yeah, that's what I found out a lot of things, right? I am vehemently against racism, right? And I don't like Morgan Wallen. But when he said a racist remark, he just went away for 3 months and then people kind of forgot about it. That doesn't make it right. But I think people just kind of move on to the next. I think when you talk about it all the time and keep talking about it and keep talking about it and keep talking, it's always going to be a topic of conversation. So if I'm Shannon Sharp, I don't say anything anymore. I don't know what the end goal is. I didn't read the report. Did you?
Yeah, I can't. I'm not too invested. It's a lot going on. I don't have time to keep up with it. But just in passing, I've seen a few. It's just like being horny is costing men a lot of money.
Yeah.
Like you just gotta control your horny, man. That's advice. You gotta keep your horny in check.
That's just good overall advice, no matter how young, old, or how notable or not. Keep
as
your
a
horny
man.
in check.
Yeah, keep your horny in check.
We can't call the show that because it's a family program, but it's goated advice right there. All right, man. Well, let's get out of here. Great show. Quick show. The Lightning are playing against the Panthers right now. So go Bolts.
Playoff hockey, right?
It is playoff hockey. The best time to, in my opinion, the best segment of any sports season of all 4 major sports.
I haven't been a fake Lightning fan in about 3-4 years. I might jump in tonight.
You should. No reason why not. We're looking for some additional people.
I got to bring some sauce to it, man.
Absolutely. All right, brother. Well, let's get one final ad read. Go visit. Oh, think of your song of the week. Go visit our friends over at Alumni Hall in Gainesville or online on Archer, or pardon me, in Gainesville on Archer Road or online at alumnihall.com. Anything that you want from national championship, sports apparel to baseball, basketball, football, golf, tennis, whatever it might be. They have all of the sports covered for the University of Florida, and it's going to be the best place that you can go and get as many things as you want. Father's Day's coming up, Mother's Day's coming up, and it's never too early to start thinking about Christmas shopping as well. So go visit Alumni Hall. If you're in Gainesville, go visit them on Archer Road. And with that, Corey, you got a song of the week?
Yeah, let me see what I got here, man. I want to get something PG. I can't just be going all willy-nilly, man. Let me get Lucky Day Algorithm. Oh. Lucky Day Algorithm. We get some R&B. Keep it wholesome and family like around here. I ain't gonna shoot nobody this week.
Yeah, don't need any emails about the song of the week. You know what I mean? Awesome. Well, that's crazy. I love that. Maybe one day we can read it on the show.
Yeah, it was classic, man.
Yeah. Maybe at episode 400, we do like a 400 episode recap, and we'll throw that email on there. I hope that guy still listens to the program because we took his advice.
Yeah.
It would be a shame if we lost a listener after he gave us his advice.
I mean, it was a legit concern.
It was. I mean, that song was pretty egregious. Definitely not a family show type of song.
Yeah, legit right, fam. Imagine riding in the car with your family on a little trip.
Yeah. We're like same corner, same time. And it's like listening to Twisted Heat by Twista and Drag On again. Just not as catchy.
Yeah, man.
All right, guys. Well, we appreciate everybody for watching. Before you leave, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. We'll see you at the same corner, same time next week with at least one more of the guys here. See you.